FC is killing me. There's another GTR Supra? Dude, there's a Supra in here. Welcome back to the channel, guys. We are still in Okinawa, and before we leave, Sappy was like, man, we got to go check out my homie's shop because there's some cars to check out. When you said cars, I didn't think you were gonna mean like full-on abandoned, sad story ones, but there's a story to kind of everything here. We'll get into it, but this shop is actually FBM, First Body Miyazato. And he's actually a D1 Lights driver, so he's at the mainland right now, and he does a lot of driving, and I've met him a few times as well. But a lot of these cars are either his personal cars from in the past or previous customers' cars where the body was too far gone and they just left them here. So it's kind of crazy. And this is just the first yard. There's another storage yard over there that we'll look at in a little bit. But what the flip? Like, every time I come to Okinawa, I am actually just mind blown by how insane the rust is here. Like, it's actually ridiculous. I really need to start bringing gloves to these things. This is a 32 GTR, right? The hell? Look at the Hachiroku. Garage Neo. That sounds familiar. Dude, it's got long champs on it. Just rotting away. Like, I've seen a fair few Hachirokus with rust, but nothing like this. Then there's this car. This would have been his personal car. Pink is his thing for sure. He always paints his engine bays pink. This thing's been here for a while. Do you know anything about these cars? Look at this 180 that's been crashed.
So I know that this one, the 86, hit a wall at Nago Circuit. I think he said in 2009 this one got crashed and it's been here. This one hit the wall at the Bull Ring, which the Bull Ring was like a pretty awesome drift spot. It was like the only third gear place in Okinawa. And then it
doesn't exist anymore?
Down. Yeah, the houses around it kind of started complaining about noise. And so that just kind of went away.
Story as long as time, right, with motorsports. I love that the fuel cap seems to just be intact, but everything around it is rusted. So crazy. Look at it. Guys, the fuel tank is just falling out of it. Oh my gosh.
I didn't even notice that.
Like, the electrical wires are still intact because they're covered in plastic, like, in, you know, but like, it's so wild. Like, how many years do you think, like, if you leave a car out in Okinawa, does this kind of stuff stop happening?
Dude, if you're not careful, it can happen in a month. Like,
what?
You can start getting
not this bad, not this bad, but like
if you have like a pretty good ding on the car, right? Like, you can turn into this little hole right here where the rust is rising in a month.
Yeah, it's just so salty, the air here. Wow, look at these old wheels. Oh man, it's such a... This 32 GTR is mind-blowing, honestly. I've never seen a GTR 32 this badly rusted out. Like, it's crazy because you see all the hot spots, like all the common spots that rust out on these cars, and just how bad it really is. Like this, where's the whole cowling? Like, it's the screws are still inside the plastic cowling, and it just collapsed and fell down. Look at it. The whole firewall's exposed in there. That's the inside of the car. Yeah, that's the body loom. That's all sealed up there normally. Oh my gosh, look at the... Dude, the gauges. Like, people pay so much money for that stuff. Look at this one. Old school Grady boost gauge. The moss growing on the seats. Oh, this is depressing. Dude, there's like 100 yen coins just chilling in there, rusting out with everything too. Dude, see that bracket that's there in the center console? That's from the sun visor. Transmission's in it. I mean, is the engine still in it? The engine's still in it. Looking through there, you can kind of see it. But how is this car so rusted, but the AC vents are still in good condition? What the frick, man? That's like the number one thing that breaks on these is like the AC vents.
And then the head gasket in the back?
Yeah, that's true. There's like a head gasket sitting on the back seat there. That's probably stuff that's just been thrown in. Gosh, the rust is just insane. The wing still looks great. So sad. This 8.6 definitely big wreck. This is literally a graveyard. Oh my gosh, the long champs.
The speaker deck is just collapsing into
the like I've never seen rust this bad. The only place I've ever seen it is here in Okinawa. Last few times we've filmed here, I mean, it's a miracle that the abandoned S15 didn't end up like with this fate. Dude, that 180SX definitely had a huge wreck. Look how twisted it is. The whole rear end is twisted. It's a Mark II. What's this over here? Oh, everything is so hot.
The whole front of the car might fall.
Bro! Okay, so I just stood on this. The whole front end is disconnected from the firewall. Look at it. Okay, not standing on that again. What is this? A 180? Another 180? Is that a Supra? Dude, there's a Supra in here. No way. Oh my gosh, it is just vined out. Dude, the whole Supra is full of vines. Hang on, I wonder if we can get behind there, because it looks like there's another car in the trees there. Let's see if we can get around the back there. This 180, the front looks kind of nice. The rear is wrecked though. Let's see if we can get out and go around there. There's some other cars through here too. I'm trying to be very careful not to catch my leg on anything and get it sliced. There's even more here. Another 180. Dude, why is this guy like so many 180s here? A lot of the Jimneys too, all rusted out.
Like 2000s, it was like super easy to get M-chassis here. So everybody just had a mad supply of them.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, bro. I have never seen... Dude, this might be a blacktop. I can't tell now though. I've never seen aluminum corrode like this before. Oh my gosh, the old Apexi intake. Look at that turbo. Oh my gosh. I have never seen a... Dude, that exhaust manifold looks like it's been at the bottom of the ocean. I have never seen an SR that's that corroded. Hang on, there's like... The bonnet is so hot. Something for all drifters, we wish you every happiness. 5th anniversary. That looks like some kind of old drifting Doryton sticker or something. And then there's an option sticker there. That's cool. Man, this is wild. Oh, that looks like a Sora here. Dude, look at the FC. No. Oh my gosh. You guys know how much I want an FC. Yeah, this looks like a Sora with maybe a 34 hood on it. I'm pretty sure that's a Sora. Yeah, this hood is definitely like a 34 hood, like a Z-Tune replica hood or something. Dude, this 180 is, oh my gosh, the rust. At least the body filler outlasts the rust here. My God. This FC is just... Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a 34 hood. Looking at this. This is definitely a Sora though. Oh my gosh, look at that S13. What is that? Is that a Hachiroku? Like half of it's missing. It's all rotted away. We definitely need to get in behind there. There's more cars. What is this FC though? Oh my gosh. Wait, does it have the good taillights that I like? I don't think they're the round ones. I can't really tell because it's so bright. It's hard for me to see. Oh my gosh. Going bush bashing. This poor FC. Oh my gosh. How? Dude, I don't know about you, but if I ever lived in Okinawa, I couldn't do it. I couldn't buy cars here that I love. Because if this is the fate of what happens to them, oh my gosh, look at all the parts in the back of this. All old school rotary stuff. There's a clutch, there's a turbo. That's an old RB25 turbo or an SR turbo. Some crazy stuff in there. Oh my gosh. Dude, it's such a nice color. So sad. The body doesn't look like it got wrecked. It looks like it just rusted out somewhere from sitting for too long. Yeah, that's a Sora. There you go. You see the rear part of it now. This 13 with Zondas? No, those wheels are so sick. What the hell? Oh, this is a Hachiroku for sure. This thing's been wrecked though. Oh my gosh, the whole roof fell off it and it's like twisted and fallen down here. How does that even happen? Look at the steering hub. Some tall guy was driving that. My kind of style. What? Oh my God. That's a DR30. And it is so rusted, the front end has fallen off it. Oh, there's another GTR. See the headlight? That thing's gone too. This FC is killing me. Oh man. Okay, hang on. We need to figure out, maybe we can go through there. I just gotta be careful not cut myself on that. This is next level though. Oh my gosh, it just feels like it's all paper. Everything's falling apart as I touch this. Can we release the hood? Oh, okay, it's all broken inside there. Dang. The hood looks relatively good though. Probably rusted on the inside. Let's see if we can get over here somehow. Dude, this 86 is nuts. It's just rusted apart. Roll cage is still intact. Oh my gosh, this is like the old lining for the roof. And it's just folded over on top of the roll cage that's here. Look at that. Oh my gosh. There is no freaking way there's a DR30 here. And another 32 GTR. There's a whole freaking GTR here. What the hell? How? Look at these old Volks. There's no dude, what? The whole engine bay, like the whole front of this car is tilted like this, right? Because it's snapped and broken away from the whole chassis. Look at the rest of the chassis. It's just the roof is collapsed. Look at the rust is so bad. Dude, you don't even have to remove the glass. The glass is already fallen away from it. The metal has rusted away from it. What the hell? Some old transmissions, those are gone. Look at the taillights. The whole rear end. Oh, the 32. What the actual hell? How does a car rust like this? Wait, this is the quarter? The whole quarter. Everything has just fallen off the car. Look at the old Altezza system sitting here. How does that even happen? How does Mother Nature do that? What? Like, I've seen some rusty 32s, but I've never seen this. This is absolutely insane. That's the whole quarter panel separated from the car and just, it's turning to dust. The whole car is turning to dust. Oh, I've never seen anything like this. Is this like an old ABS computer module? Dude, nothing is surviving this. This is Okinawa for you though. Like, you can still see the dash and the cluster. Hang on, I want to really get in there and have a look. Let's see if we can move this over a bit. That's ridiculous that I'm literally just picking up a quarter from this car and shifting it over. One thing you do need to be careful about in Okinawa is there's a very venomous snake here. Supposedly, if you get bitten once, you can only take the anti-venom once, and then you can't reuse it again. If you get bitten a second time in your lifetime, you die. Oh my gosh. That's so sad. These cars are so gone. Like, you can't repair this. Oh, just nicked my finger. Gonna have to get a tetanus shot. The 86, there's another whole 86 inside there. I thought that's what that was. Well, wait, I'm so confused. There's another 2 86s in here then, under all this. Look at this one. Oh my God. I've never seen anything like this. I can't believe the whole quarter panel has come off this 32 GTR like that and is separated. And like the half of the car is just rusted away and gone. It's all just falling apart. Same with this DR30. I've never seen the front end of a car, because of its weight and how rusted it is, just fall off and disconnect itself from the chassis. Look at this. All rusted all the way through. Gone. Old 86 front bumper. Look at the dash in here. Oh my gosh. Look at the old turbo gauge, guys. Oh, it's old school Tomei. It's an air fuel ratio gauge. That's so cool. So this is like a needle style one. and this would go to, you know, obviously let you know your air fuel ratio. But like, it wasn't like it was a long time ago that they changed to a digital readout for that because these were somewhat inaccurate. This is old school. So cool. This is the first AFR gauge that I've seen in person that has a dial. That's wild. Oh my gosh. I have no words. No words to describe this. There's another car in here. What is this? What's under this? I can't tell. There's a whole car in there just rotting away under the vines. I cannot tell what is in there. That's like open window there and just inside a car. I can't tell what it is. This is just insane. Is there an engine still in there? It looks like there is. How could that even be possible? There's a battery in there. Oh, I can see through the hood. There's an engine in there. What is even... Oh, man, I don't understand. This is the one thing about living in Japan I don't understand. Like, now people aren't like this, but previously these cars were quite cheap, right? And if there was any issues with them, if it was costing too much money to repair, they would just leave them at the shop. And then the shop owner can't do anything with them because you can't reclaim cars, and it's super, super difficult to do that here. And if you don't have the paperwork, you can't do anything with the car, and you just got to let it sit there. And that's just pretty much what happens to these, I would say. So sad. I wonder if there's an engine in the DR30, because these had an FJ20 in them. Intercooler piping's all rusted. Like, oh my gosh. Back out the front of this yard, and there's a couple, I think these are 14 shells, yeah. They're here getting, I guess, parted out. Oh, dude, I still can't get over the rust here. It's next level.
GK Tech brake lines cut?
Yeah, I saw that. It's got some parts on this. And then it's also got like a GK Tech, like crazy clearance sway bar in it as well. Interesting. This one too. It's kind of interesting because like the struts in this section here aren't actually all that bad, which is really weird. And like it's kind of okay here. Here is the usual spot, so I get that, but it's just interesting where it's like the roofs are just gone, but certain places in the struts that I'll expect to rust first are not. And I wonder if that's just because this is what is more so exposed outside with the salty air and the humidity and the sun here. That's probably why like the outside places like rust so much on this. Dude, look, someone tried to rust repair this at some point. Just kind of stuck something in there and brazed it in by the looks of it. So sad. This is gnar. Had to take another look at this 32 GTR. It's so depressing. Still though, nothing beats the 32 GTR that's falling apart in the tree there. Oh my gosh. What would you guys do if you had unlimited funds and you stumbled across this? Would you buy all of this and just like part it out and try to build some kind of car? Because these chassis are pretty well gone, right? They're worth, it's not worth it in my opinion, especially some of those ones up the back. You just can't fix those, I don't think. There's nothing left of them. But if you could take some stuff out of it to live on in other cars, that I think has a story and a merit to it. But I don't know, what would you guys do? I'm so mind blown with the cars up the back where those trees are growing. That was insane, especially that A80 Supra. We can't really get close to it, but like the vines inside it were just wild. And this is the second storage yard. This 180 is not too bad. It's definitely a little rusty. Gold RPF ones. Yeah, you can see it's always the roofs here, hey. Oh my gosh, the aluminum tape, keep the water out. Oh, around the rear windshield sprayer. Yo, this is a Type X rear hatch, I think, because it has the 180SX in it. I don't know if that was only Type X or not, actually. Dude, nah, this thing's gone. You could probably still save it. I don't know what it's like underneath, but this is a lot to deal with. Oh boy. Speed Factory. Pray for Japan, don't give up Japan Drag Raceway. Does that still exist?
They started kind of bringing the drag racing back at Izina, but I'm not sure like how much activity is in it, you know?
Yeah.
But they just had an event like maybe 2 weeks ago.
Okay, that's cool. Because there's a... Oh my gosh. I just noticed this is Ganondorf's. Oh, they're real.
They're real Ganondorfs.
They're real Ganondorfs. Yeah, you can also tell the aluminum base and it's coming
real
in.
Ganondorf. This one's off.
Oh, the other side's broken?
Hanging.
Oh, that's a stop. Oh, that's so sad. Dude, you can still fix that? The base plate's worth is what's worth the money because you can take the mirror and put them on anyone. Oh, that's sad though. Bummer. Yeah, because Sendai Highlands, I just did a video there. The whole place got turned into a solar field. Oh, by the way, I wish I knew this rumor sooner, but apparently the power company that bought it, now this is all rumors from the local, it was TEPCO. And TEPCO, typically when a racetrack is bought in Japan and turned into a solar farm, they never dig it up, but they dug this one up because apparently that's where they stored all the bags of radioactive dirt from the Fukushima power plant. So that's why there's so much security there. The fencing is everywhere because they have to keep people out and they needed a storage location. So that's why it made sense. They dug it all up, they buried it, they leveled it, and then they put all the solar panels on the roof to generate some kind of, you know, income / electricity, while all of that has to sit under there for like 1,000 years or whatever it is. So yeah, I'm kind of glad we never, I don't think we'll ever get the opportunity to go inside, and I don't think I ever want to go inside because I definitely don't want to expose myself to that. If that's a true rumor. I don't know if it's true or not, but conspiracy theories aside, another wrecked S14. It doesn't look like it's been in an accident, it's just rusted to all hell. My gosh. I don't think do cars rust like this anywhere else in the world? I don't think so. Have you like seen anything back home in the States like this?
No, there's like people that find barn finds S chassis in America right now that have been untouched for 8-9 years and they look pretty pristine.
Yeah, like if you find something in like California,
yeah,
like West Coast, it's like beautiful.
Texas, it's like there's somebody that found one recently. I think he got it for like $7K. It was beautiful 240 and it hadn't been touched in 9 years.
The same thing in Australia. You can find like cars just left in a farm or a paddock and they've been there for ages. They may have like a tiny couple spots underneath it, but totally easy to repair and they've been there for 10 years. The key. That's wild. It still works too. I mean, this car ain't going nowhere, let's be honest. Another 180. Whereabouts in the States were you initially from, Sappy?
Texas.
Texas. Yeah, so nice and dry. Oh my gosh. There's nothing left here. It's all just gone. That's crazy because like obviously we're restoring the abandoned S15 and I just talked about in the last video about these parts and these pieces and how the S14s are actually identical to the 15s and that's all gone. That's nuts. How does that even... Wait, are the doors just fallen off this because of the rust? Shut up, they have. How? How does it get that rusty? Oh, this side too, the whole thing. Look, the nuts, everything still attached. The bolts still through. I ain't never seen anything like that. Man, this is insane. This is so sad. So 2 cars. Wait, there's a whole Supra here. How did I just notice that? Oh my gosh. Look at the roof though. How? Dude, Okinawa just eats cars up and destroys them. So this has his branding on. So this had to be like an old shop car or something. Look at the inside. Oh, that's so cool. I wonder if this is like an old drag car or something because it has a lot of old school tech in there. Old F-con and everything. The roll cage. It's definitely old shop car. The pink roll cage gives it away. And he's got his stickers all over it. Damn, this was actually kind of nice. Carbon fiber rear instead of glass. All cracked and destroyed though. Oh man. Dude, it has the nice tails too. So drag racing was pretty big here, right?
It was pretty big. In the early 2000s, it was like pretty big.
But you guys never had a full quarter mile, right? It was only an eighth.
It's 8.
Yeah. Because the only real quarter mile was that Sendai Highlands place I was just talking about.
Yeah.
That got closed down. Oh wow, the dash is like all carbon fiber. I just noticed that. It's kind of cool. Super sad though. Dude, I have not seen any A80 Supras in a long time. Like nothing in kind of like this state at all. I think these are the first 2 that I've ever seen in the same place too. That's wild. I haven't seen a single A80 that's like rusted away or anything. That's nuts. Oh my gosh, look at this 15. Dude, this place is like literally where cars, like Okinawa is where cars go to die.
Facts.
Like,
And it's crazy, if you bring it from mainland with the slightest amount of rust, it gets here.
gone. That's why I'm so mind blown with the abandoned S15 really isn't that bad.
And like another problem is like there's so much rust that it can't all be fixed. And so shops are just kind of overwhelmed with business for rust repair.
I imagine being a body shop here is like actually really good business wise. Well, yes and no, because
I mean,
too much work.
yeah, you could easily book a year in a week.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, if you guys want to start a body shop, come to Okinawa. I can't get over this trunk that the top part just came off and separated from the inner seal. Oh wow, it's full of water in there. There's trees, like little plants growing inside. Dude, look at this, look, it's actually been like just tied down.
The fact that there's plants growing inside but not under it is crazy.
The old Advan track like entrance thing. Look at the old air chassis intercooler pipe rusting in there. Oh, wow, wait, is this Spec R? It is! Oh, that even sucks even more. The Spec R has extra bracing in the rear. It pretty much really doesn't do much, but everyone takes it out anyways when they drift because they reckon it feels better without it. But that's the only differences with Spec Rs. It's just like bolt-in reinforcements.
The good old
Oh, and the turbo engine, of course. Dude, this was clean and stock. Like stock side mount intercooler. There's no way this has an engine in it, right? Nah, of course. Oh, hold this for me. That is next level rust, boys and girls. Holy. Look at it over here too. It's a black hole. Kind of want, I want this piece. Oh my gosh. Dude, this was so stock. Look, it had the stock bypass blow-off valve and everything. Oh my gosh. Dude, Spec R. Rest in peace. This may be the cleanest car here. Koki S14. I think it's NA. Loving the wheels. Very cool. Old school Impul. Damn, that's clean. But this is what you're talking about, right? Like, this tiny little bit here, there's a little bit of bubbling here. And it's always the roofs here. Why is it always the roofs? No idea. But, yeah, unfortunately, Miyazato-san is in the mainland doing some business stuff. This is his D1 Lights car. He does a bunch of driving here. Hopefully, I'll be actually doing some events down here sometime soon. We'll get to drive together. But his dash is pretty cool. Look at all the airbrush work there. That's actually kind of sick. I really dig that. Dude, I want a 180 so bad. I want an FC. I want so many cars.
You would think with how much like rust is prominent here, you wouldn't airbrush rust into your dash.
Yeah, you're right. Kind of does have like a rusty color hue to it. Oh yeah, like over there.
The metal pleating over there.
Maybe that's why he's done that though, because that's literally his job to fix rust. It's a nice 180 though. And then this is a Verossa. Okay, yeah. Headlights are very different. Threw me off for a second, that other one.
He offered me this car like 4 years ago for like, I think maybe like 3K USD. And at the time I just didn't have the funds for it. And now I asked him like, hey, does the 3K offer still stand? And he was like,
nope.
It's 1J, but it's automatic.
Dude, when I first moved here, I could get 32, 33 GDRs for 5K.
I know, bro.
And they're like low Ks. It was crazy. Look at this 14. Damn, this thing is, how come it has Workmeisters on it and like new tires? Oh my gosh, this thing looks like, dude, this is completely rotted through here. I would not drive that.
Steel 4-lug?
Yeah, oh, that's cool. Dude, wait, what is this? It's like wood to fix that. Oh my gosh, the whole thing's twisting. Oh yeah, this thing doesn't get driven anymore for sure.
So if this is the car, if I think it's the car that I think it is, one night this car was running from the police in Naha at a drift spot.
What?
And the whole wheel came off.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm not surprised.
And obviously they got caught.
One question I have is where are the door handles?
What the?
How do you open the car? Police can't catch you if they can't open the door. All jokes aside, guys, I still hope you enjoyed this video, as it is kind of sad seeing a bunch of dream cars rotting away. Obviously, we don't really know the full circumstances of everything here, but knowing the whole, abandoned car situation in Japan and back a fair few years ago, these cars weren't worth that much money. So if they were too far gone, where the price to repair them was more than the value of the car, which wasn't that much because a lot of these cars were only like 5Gs and stuff like that. And there's definitely more than 5Gs worth of bodywork on some of those back then. you know, the cars just get abandoned, they get left, and then you can't dispose of them until they turn to dust. So that's kind of what happens. Anyways, I'm curious to know though, what was your favorite car that you saw, and what would you do? Would you try to save any of these? And enjoy this beautiful view of Okinawa. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Wait, how does it go? He said,
son, when you grow up, would you be the savior of the broken, the beaten, and the damned? He said, will you defeat them, your demons, and all the